Hey everybody, I drew first straw and all that kind of stuff, so thank you all for coming tonight. There's going to be a little ekphrastic element, they tell me, to everything, so we can start out by thinking of some kind of painting of field workers, maybe Malays, gleaners. Oh, there's Heather! Yay! Heather's here too. We have to say Heather, Heather, Heather 5 times because she's been in the Lindsey Buckingham position. So, anyway, so you want to go second? Oh, okay, right. So we want to imagine Malays the Gleaners, or even the cover of Richard Powers' Three Farmers on Their Way to a Dance. A picture of just a lonely-looking field, except we take out all the latitude and longitude map references anywhere because all that's left on the planet is electromagnetic fields. This poem is called Almost Laingsburg. The Tennessee gentleman, reimagining sadness, sets up shop along Kreitz Road as if to demonstrate a hometown uncertainty principle, defying the purposeful meridian, defining the purposeful meridian, as we pick through his pockets of sparkly resonance, coincidence. My only possible response is to program the GPS for ideal Murfreesboro coordinates, the latest in a long line of sister cities, where cars drive themselves, where lives switch to permanent autopilot, where ley lines deemed impossible by every sacred text in the Temple of Reason erase all surface features of the underlying planet. The second one comes from a specific map coordinate in Quito, Ecuador, a little place called Cafe Cultura, where all of the lush verdant greenery is painted directly on the walls, and strange groups of women from North America gather in the lobby to loudly proclaim how they're going to move upriver on the Amazon to teach the indigenous cultures better spiritual methods. And I'm sitting in the corner of the room getting really bothered by all of this. And this poem is called Pachamama, Annoyance. And who am I to choke on woman fire power, awakening the dreamer, monopolizing the lobby, declaring that one more Amazon venture will convince the Kishwa to unlock the simple spirituality that is theirs to share, while the passel of white women head north to fill dozens of social science journals. Kill me, my snark makes me evil, I tell Fernando, who agrees he'd rather suffer untold male-dominant lunkheads than this coven of faux feminist pomegranates turning Cafe Cultura into sage, swelling in syrup of sincerity. And the karaoke, Fernando adds, well, you don't want to know. Thanks. This one here's a kind of a political rant. Private First Class Bradley Manning is bound over to a court-martial for telling people about the WikiLeaks. And seems like every Republican and Democrat in the country wants to put him up for a death sentence or whatever, which only makes sense because, the Obama administration has been sending up something like 9 journalists under espionage charges for telling stories, not for spying. And when I heard about all this, I thought, believing that Bradley Manning is a bad person depends on thinking that our entire governmental structure for the last 30 years has had some kind of shred of legitimacy to it. And I don't really think that way. So this poem's called The Legitimacy of a Naked Manning. Synonym search in the Merriam put out to pasture, a stolen NATO playbook, assumes a dictionary legible to all. No fly in Tobruk, responsibility to protect, assumes I voted a captive parent in the last My Weekly Reader poll. Dangerous toys in wrong hands, boys in bound hands, assumes I trust my toy chest to the warrant officer hiking nuclear football. Goddess Diana of the 1,000-day epoch of Harvey Milk, leading our blessed prayer of Espionage Act, assumes I have witnessed her halo of fire in a leaked life hereafter. Assange, assignation, assertion, assume. I assume nothing. Myriad miles of copper zinc pipes springing WikiLeaks at each T-joint carry less legitimacy than Bradley's hands testing the slip knot. The 5 centuries of Westphalian honor, nightmare, triumphalism, more transitory than the piss spattered on Manning's toes. Okay, here's one for the Energizer Bunny. Just checking my time here. The lithium in this title refers to lithium cell batteries and lithium given to schizoaffective disorders, and maybe the lithium deuteride of hydrogen bombs, too. Even lithium. The tenebrae of Thibaut de Newman reminded me that every pink rabbit meets its immovable object. This King Day will be spent sitting in a circle, tossing the hot potatoes of clocks running down, safe in the knowledge that each LED of a strange red moment, not our own, is right at least twice in a given event horizon. We'll send out each elongated tick and tock for its Hail Mary moment, observing as the baby Einsteins we all pretend to be. King in Memphis. Dusty in Memphis. By the time the low indicators begin to flash, devices are already misbehaving like spoiled little James Earl Rays. Phones send text messages from long-dead angry birds. Cameras display forgotten hallucinogenic spectra, living proof of the 1880s. People cower on the floor behind exercise bicycles, claiming they are being held prisoner in a bagram no one else sees. He's dying, I tell her in what should be a forceful voice, running out of time, patience, insistence. Then I shall have to hit him, she says. Bunnies mustn't stop. Too many already have. Let's see. I'll end with a couple here. I'll do a recipe, because recipes always work well for readings. And then a real shorty at the end. The recipe here is called Simmered Naga Jalokia and the Party of Silence. Because Bina, Catherine, Chris, and Dwayne say today is recipe day. 2 cups of jampong from Jackson Creek. 1 tablespoon of garam masala, the old jar in the back of the cupboard. 2 optional fresh jalapenos roasted over a gas stove flame. 5 fresh basil leaves, as faux fresh as one will find them in a Colorado April snow. 1/4 cup of the stuff in the green Tupperware at the back of the refrigerator, apparently chutney of some sort. Don't ask questions. 1/2 teaspoon of Naga Jalokia sauce. There's a reason they call it ghost pepper. Prepare an industrial kitchen, preferably the kind with open windows, so that customers may watch the sous chef. Poets who believe in the walled-off preparatory process are not to be trusted. Mistakes and spills in preparation must be visible to all. Appropriate mental state is achieved after a 4-hour excruciating board meeting and a drive from Denver in an ice storm. Chef must be rash in adding ingredients of uncertain genesis. Roast the jalapenos over the gas stove for promptness, rather than a proper oven sweat, so that random items in the kitchen may be set on fire to add to the show. Ignore cries from family members who say Naga Jalokia so close to bedtime may be dangerous to the large intestine and the subconscious. Steam jampong over an open book describing the 1915 assault on Gallipoli. Whirl the basil as Mustafa Kemal moves up his troops for the anticipated Australian meat grinder effect. Shrimp and soba noodles may be slurped during trench atrocities for proper emphasis. Shout, 30 pray! 30 pray! Because Carolyn would want it that way. Collapse on dog hair saturated mattress. Dream of the cocktail party in some kind of open court, perhaps the veranda of an Adobe mini mansion, but more likely a bombed out shell in Trebizond. Your closest friend is there. Try to catch her eye. She denies the gaze. She will not speak, even though you sense no hostility. A terror more complete than dreams of zombies or trench warfare. Maybe you were not at the party. Maybe you have left this life. Maybe that's why they call it the ghost pepper. You search for socks in ruins of a dresser that may have suffered a direct hit by artillery shell. For variety, the final 5 ingredients may be added to tom yum gai instead of jampong. Lather, rinse, repeat. Return to the party and ask why. All right. I'm going to end with this real shorty here, simply because somebody on the Weirdo Musicville group site on Facebook today had the audacity to put up a little Q&A that says, why do the majority of people instantly despise banjo music? In order to save time. And I consider the banjo to be an object of worship, even if it's missing 2 strings and collecting dust in the closet. So this is called the Nominal Banjo. Unplucked plaintive murder ballads roil the belly, but find the prospect of 2 missing strings and a morning of relentless sizzle free of sunspot, a joy too far to maneuver. But the unrealized banjo ballad perseveres and will be awesome in its path of escape. Thanks for listening.